morning, everyone!
Hello, and welcome to the end of your week. I hope you enjoyed your holiday yesterday, but of course, let's end it all on the right note. Let's get you up to speed with some news that you could use right now.
Hello there, beautiful people. I'm Anne Asis-Carilo. Thank God it's Friday. Let's make this day an awesome one with some laughter, inspiration, information, and unstoppable energy.
And I'm Monique Tuzon. Your mornings are always no fun with us. Join us in the next hour and a half for stories and conversations that matter. Happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday.
We have a jam-packed Friday show today.
Yes. We have 3 guests today. Later on, we'll be talking to the founder of Minsan Studio. I'm actually curious why it's called Minsan.
Sometimes lang kasi.
Oo nga, sometimes lang. But he has a festival upcoming, so we're going to be talking about that later on. And we got a former beauty queen, if I'm not mistaken, joining us. Was she a former beauty queen?
No, her
she's an
sister was.
actress.
The sister.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, it's funny because I think the younger generation would be kind of upset that you don't know her. But that's okay.
Look at
I know. She was the mixed VJ, right? Was she?
No.
Or the sister?
The sister.
The sister. Okay,
She's getting them confused.
I got confused.
Mali yung ginugol niya po. Kaya mamaya tignan na lang natin. But that's gonna be
It's
a
okay,
lot of
buti na
fun.
lang. You're not taking care of that segment.
Yeah, no, I'm taking care of the OPM segment. So there you go. I'm excited. And you have a guest for Weather HQ
Yeah, we
today?
have, of course, we have a more environmental related news. Of course, this one involving a bit of health as well. So, mamaya, abangan nyo. But of course, something that I think we all kind of enjoyed from, I guess, spillover from Labor Day was the fact that today, traffic's not as bad as well. I mean, like, compared to...
It was kind of normal for me.
Was it bad for you guys?
bad.
Wow,
Yeah.
pati kay Direk, si Direk mentioned, "Pao, it was bad." I'm like,
It was
Yeah,
congested.
I don't know. I was okay today.
Okay, you
It's
used a
back to
jet.
normal. I don't know.
Bilyonaryo.
I wish I had
chopper.
a jet or a chopper. No, for those willing to sponsor, I'm ready. I'm ready to fly. I'm ready to fly for you guys.
It's fine. You already flew here today. No need.
So let's check out if it's going to be traffic out there today. Let's check out the roads and major thoroughfares this Friday. Let's take a look first at EDSA White Plains C. If you are going southbound, you're going to be slowing things down already at this hour. Moderate traffic already building up on that stretch left side. You're seeing the vehicles heading to Cubao. And on the right side are the vehicles going to White Plains. So on the opposite lane, we got light traffic on that area. Now, let's take a look this time at EDSA Orense in Makati. On the left side are vehicles heading to Pasay City, and on the right side are vehicles going to Shaw Boulevard. Still free-flowing on both sides of that part of EDSA. Now, heads up to motorists. The expanded vehicle number coding scheme is back in full swing. It's Friday, so vehicles with license plates ending in 9 and 0 should be off the road right about now until 10 a.m. and again later from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Let's find out what the weather is going to be like this Friday. Paolo has the day's forecast from Weather HQ. Take it away, Paolo.
Thanks, Monique. Let's take a look at the activity happening on our Metra weatherscape. Now, there are 3 systems that are currently affecting the conditions across the country. Now, as of 3 a.m. today, there is a low-pressure area, or LPA, that was spotted approximately 400 kilometers east of Hinatuan in Surigao del Sur. So that is right over here. Now, this weather system is embedded along the ITCZ, or the Intertropical Convergence Zone, which is currently bringing unstable weather over Mindanao in general. Meanwhile, the easterlies, or the warm winds coming from the east, will continue to affect the rest of the Philippines. Now, let's take a look at what happens due to the LPA. Now, due to the LPA, residents in Catanduanes, Albay, Sorsogon, Masbate, Eastern Visayas, Central Visayas, Northern Mindanao, Caraga, the Davao region should all expect cloudy skies with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms. So all of these areas affected here by the LPA. Now, these conditions may be accompanied by gusty winds and sudden heavy downpours, which could trigger flash floods or landslides, especially in vulnerable areas. Now, for the rest of the Visayas and Mindanao, the Intertropical Convergence Zone will continue to bring cloudy weather with scattered rains and thunderstorms. Now, people in low-lying or mountainous regions are advised to remain alert and closely monitor updates from local authorities, as moderate to occasionally heavy rains could lead to the hazardous conditions that we all dread. Now, meanwhile, let's take a look at Metro Manila and the rest of Luzon. Now, you can expect partly cloudy skies with isolated rains and thunderstorms, mostly in the late afternoon or in the evening, once again due to the easterlies affecting the entire country. Now, let's check how the easterly winds are shaping Pag-asa's latest heat index forecast. Now, leading today's heat index readings is Infanta in Quezon with a sweltering 45 degrees Celsius. Currently, it is the hottest spot in the country. That is followed by Tanawan in Batangas with 44 degrees Celsius. Now, residents in these extreme heat zones are strongly urged to avoid direct sun exposure, stay hydrated, and be alert for signs of heat exhaustion or even heat stroke. Now, other areas also experiencing dangerously high heat index levels of around 43 degrees Celsius include Dagupan in Pangasinan, Subic Bay, Olongapo, San Ildefonso in Bulacan, Sangi Point in Cavite, Alabat in Quezon, Puyo, Palawan, and Masbate City. Meanwhile, several locations are expected to reach 42 degrees Celsius, such as Sinait in Ilocos Sur, Lawag, Ilocos Norte, Tuguegarao City in Cagayan, Etiaga in Isabela, Baler, Aurora, Muñoz in Nueva Ecija, and Camiling, Tarlac. Additional areas forecasted to hit 42 degrees Celsius include Tayabas and Mulunay in Quezon, Calapan in Oriental Mindoro, San Jose in Occidental Mindoro, Daet in Camarines Norte, Legazpi City, Albay, and Pili, Camarines Sur. Now, the summer sunshine might be too much for a lot of us, so we encourage you to hydrate, stay indoors if you can, avoid strenuous activities outdoors during the peak heat hours of 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., and also watch out for children, seniors, and those with medical conditions who are most at risk. Now, at present, there are no gale warnings issued, and sea conditions nationwide are generally smooth sailing, perfect for small fishing vessels and light watercraft. Coastal areas are experiencing mostly light to moderate winds and waves, making marine travel relatively safe. But sailors and fisherfolk are advised to stay vigilant as weather conditions can suddenly change. Check out your latest weather bulletins before you go sailing and fishing. That's it for Weather HQ at the moment. Back to you, girls.
Thank you so much, Pao, for that weather update. Moving on to today's top stories. Vice President Sara Duterte believes President Bongbong Marcos's order to probe the Villar-owned prime water infrastructure is politically motivated. In an ambush interview, the VP claims it could have something to do with her decision to endorse the senatorial candidacy of Camille Villar.
Dahil lahat naman ng galawan ngayon ng administrasyon ay dahil sa politika. So wala na akong nakita na ginawa ng administrasyon na ito para sa kapayapaan at kaunlaran ng ating bayan. Kundi lahat ay mag-atake lang sa politika at sa mga tao hindi nila kaya takutin at hindi nila kaya bilhin.
Malacanang earlier said Marcos wants an investigation of prime water for alleged poor service and high cost.
The Vice President also confirms she will attend the DOJ's preliminary probe into the NBI complaint against her. The Bureau earlier recommended the filing of inciting to sedition and grave threat charges. That's after Duterte said she has ordered someone to kill the first couple and House Speaker Martin Romualdez if she herself gets killed. The VP has received summons from the prosecutor's office.
Nagkausap na kami ng aking abogado with regard to sa counter-affidavit. Natapos na lang namin. At mag-appear ako dahil kailangan ko mag-appear.
Supporters of former President Rodrigo Duterte gathered near his residence in Davao City after reports circulated that an alleged search warrant will be served at the Duterte properties.
Nagabot-abot ang mga tao kagabi o hantod karon kay nai-impo nga naabot sa ila nga ang balay ni Tatay Digong i-search daw mao na karon sa suporta lang po sa mga kuan po, mga katauhan po nga nagmahal po sa ato ang former Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Nag-abot-abot sila po diri nga magbantay sa palibot sa mga.
Congressman Paolo Duterte condemned what he described as harassment against their family. He said they are monitoring the alleged arrival of 30 operatives of the Criminal Investigation Detection Group and 90 members of the PNP Special Action Force. But CIDG Director Major General Nicolas Torre III denied the allegations.
The Commission on Elections racing against time to help voters in La Carlota, Negros Occidental be ready for the midterm elections this month. The COMELEC carried out its voter education in the town, which is still on alert due to the activity of Mount Canlaon. Locals have been in evacuation centers since the volcano started acting up back in December of last year. But COMELEC Chair George Garcia says the goal is for the elections to be carried out successfully, whatever it takes.
Ang ating ambisyon at all costs, walang failure of election, walang postponement of election, wala po tayong gagawin na idideklara na resetting ng election. Dapat at all costs, lahat makaboto sa Mayo 12.
Senator Francis Tolentino is demanding direct answers from the Chinese embassy concerning Beijing's alleged election interference. The Chinese embassy has denied these claims, saying they have no interest in the domestic affairs of other countries. But Tolentino, the Senate Special Committee Chair on Maritime and Admiralty Zones, called out the embassy for dodging the question.
Totoo ba ito? Hindi. Sinagot ba doon sa text nyo? Hindi. Totoo ba itong kontrata with Infinitus? Sinagot ba? Hindi. Totoo ba yung social media reportorial system nila? Ito, People's Republic of China flag. Sinagot ba nila? Hindi. Nililihis nila yung issue. Ngayon na nakakulong sa RTC, sa Tarlac, Branch 36, yung nahuli sa Subic. Sinagot ba nila na hindi nila citizens yun? Hindi. Yung nahuli kahapon, pwede kaya nila sagutin yun, yung merong MC Grabber na Chinese ba yun? Spice? Sinagot ba nila? Hindi.
The marketing firm contracted by the Chinese embassy has been summoned by the NBI, and Tolentino has invited them to a Senate hearing in the coming weeks.
Disqualification cases are piling up nationwide as candidates face allegations of vote buying, abuse of state resources, and misrepresentation. Among these include Pasig congressional candidate Christian Sia and Senator Cynthia Villar, who is running as Las Piñas representative. Camarines Sur gubernatorial candidate Ronald Alarcon Rodriguez also had his certificate of candidacy canceled for material misrepresentation over residency issues. COMELEC says they are aggressively pursuing the poll violators with weeks remaining till the midterm elections.
Habang papalapit ang eleksyon, madami nagba-violate. Habang papalapit ang eleksyon, madaming makukulit. Habang papalapit ang eleksyon, mas lalong madami pong nagkukumit ng vote buying at paglabag sa ating pong mga patakaran. And therefore, asahan nyo, hindi lang madodoble, matitriple or quadruple times pa ang mga mapapal na disqualification sa atin.
The Transportation Department suspends the bus line Solid North following a fatal crash at the Subic-Clark-Tarlac Expressway, or SCTEX. 12 people were killed and left over 20 injured along the toll plaza of the expressway early Thursday afternoon. Abante reports the bus driver said he dozed off when the accident happened. In an interview on Bilyonaryo News Channel's Agenda, Transport Secretary Vince Dizon says the department will hold a dialogue with bus companies following the accident.
Tayo po ngayon ay nagsabi na sa LTFRB na isuspindi na kaagad yung Solid North Bus Company effective tomorrow. No, dahil po sa loss of life at sa injury na dinulot nitong kanyang bus at driver dito sa SCTEX. Tinatawag po natin silang lahat ang mga bus companies bukas kasama na ang Solid North sa DOTR at talagang haharapin po natin silang lahat.
The Department of Transportation is still looking into the so-called Punit passport scheme that's been making waves online. But Transport Secretary Vince Dizon says so far no solid evidence has turned up to confirm it's really happening. In her now viral social media post, Diana Natividad said that everything at the airport was going smoothly until ground staff pointed out a small tear in her father's passport, which ultimately led to her father being left behind for the trip.
Binobagsak namin sa bahay ng airport at kinonfirm nila na nung pinadala ng Cebu Pacific yung screenshot nung state ng yung sitwasyon ng passport kayo. Ang Valley mismo ang nagsabi, huwag na po ipasakayin masaya dahil hindi namin siya.
To help address passport concerns, the DOTR is working with the DFA to roll out help desks at major international airports.
Medyo nagdududa ang mga kababayan natin sa estado ng kanilang passport, meron silang pupuntahan para magtanong at ipakita at ipacheck kung makakalusot ba itong,
yung condition.
itong mga nakikita nilang problema sa passport nila sa kanilang patutunguhang bansa.
Several lawmakers are concerned with the newest scheme to hit the airports. Senator Win Gatchalian says the Punit passport scheme is a serious threat to the country's reputation as a tourist destination. He calls the modus an outright abuse that may cast doubts on our airports. Gatchalian urged authorities to hold those responsible accountable and have security protocols in place. OFW Party List Representative Marisa Magsino calls on airport travelers to be vigilant. She says they should be cautious and not to entrust travel documents right away if the process is unclear.
In world news, a major shakeup in the White House as U.S. President Donald Trump ousts his national security advisor, Mike Waltz. Trump named Secretary of State Marco Rubio as Waltz's interim replacement. Waltz is a 52-year-old former Republican lawmaker from Florida who faced criticism inside the White House when he was caught up in a signal scandal among top national security aides back in March.
Britain's King Charles reflects on his cancer diagnosis and treatment. He spoke during a Buckingham Palace reception dedicated to community-based cancer groups. The king told them while each new cancer case will be daunting and frightening, it can also be an experience that brings into sharp focus the very best of humanity. Charles also expressed gratitude to health workers and researchers, saying his own experience has given him a deeper appreciation of the work that they do. Charles was diagnosed with an unspecified form of cancer in February 2024 and has been receiving treatment.
The heir to the British throne, Prince William, and his wife, Kate, go on a nature trail in Scotland. The royal couple visited a community forest where they met with families taking part in an outdoor learning session. This is the second and last day of their Scottish trip, which also coincides with their 14th wedding anniversary. The couple opted for a low-key celebration and even stayed at a self-catering cottage on the secluded west coast island of Mull.
Moving on to sports, a triumphant campaign for Korean cyclist Jude Dae-yong as he reigned supreme in the Tour of Luzon. The Korean rider from the Kapyong cycling team overcame a busted rear tire near Baguio City in Stage 8 to clinch the overall title and become 1 million pesos richer. Ju wore the yellow jersey from start to finish. Joshua Pascua stole the show to claim the stage win and the Eagle of the Mountain title. MPT Drive Hub took the team title to wrap up the epic tour. Now over in the NBA playoffs, the Los Angeles Lakers season comes to a screeching halt. The Lakers lost to the Minnesota Timberwolves in 5 games in their first-round series. This comes despite acquiring the services of Slovenian superstar Luka Doncic in a mega trade with the Dallas Mavericks earlier this year. Lakers head coach J.J. Redick says the dynamics between Luka and LeBron James will only get better from here on end.
Yeah, I mean, we played 13 games with our playoff rotation in the regular season. Bron and Luka obviously played more than that together, but these things take time. You know, Luka just went through it in Dallas with Kyrie, and doesn't happen overnight. We obviously wished that I wouldn't call it chemistry because they have chemistry, but that part of it we could figure out better. And we were, I guess, in a better place and more comfortable with that in the fourth quarters of playoff games. But that partnership and that relationship is more than solid.
The T-Wolves knocked out the Lakers behind a solid effort from former Defensive Player of the Year, the Stifle Tower, Rudy Gobert. Minnesota head coach Chris Finch praised his team for going all out against the Lake Show. The T-Wolves are awaiting the winner of the series between the Golden State Warriors and the Houston Rockets.
Yeah, no doubt. I just told the guys, we didn't shoot the ball well, but I thought we were the tougher team, mentally and physically, and that's when it showed itself. We were able to withstand the run. I told them at the quarter, I said, hey, listen, after all that, we're still up 1. Let's go in. We knew we'd been good in fourth quarters against this team all series. We just needed to see a couple shots go down opportunistically. Julius was huge. He had a matchup. He just kept going and going and going, was relentless there. But guys did a great job of surviving, the motions of the game, which was always going to be a tough game.
Moving on to entertainment, renowned Hollywood filmmaker Martin Scorsese is set to produce a documentary featuring Pope Francis' last on-cam interview. Scorsese, French luxury fashion house Chanel unveiled its cruise 2025 collection at the iconic Villa d'Este on Lake Como. Inspired by Italian glamour, the show featured loungewear, jumpsuits, dresses in pastel colors, tweed jackets, and suits. The label tapped French-Belgian designer Matthew Blazy as its new creative director in December, replacing Virginie Viard. He will present his first collection for Chanel in October.
Now up ahead, an independent music studio is reimagining what concerts should look like. The Minsan Fest is putting together iconic music acts from different generations in a no-headliner, accessible summer concert. More on that after the break. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. An independent music hub is putting together OPM essentials across generations into one accessible music festival with no headliners. We speak with Minsan Studio's head, Jason Conanan, about this ultimate summer festival and the local live music scene. It's a beautiful day, Jason. Welcome to the show.
Hello, welcome. Thank you for having me.
Of course, Jason, I'm curious. Minsan Studio. So this started as a passion project and then eventually it evolved into a community space for gigs, diba, workshops, collaborative sessions. Paano nga ba ito nagsimula? And why is it called Minsan Studio?
Okay. So we're mainly a video production and events company. So we normally do corporate clients. But using the resources we had, we actually have our own studio. And then one of my friends, Josh Villena of Autotelic, he would hang out there along with our other friends, and then sometimes we would need a place to jam or rehearse with other artists, he would say, dyan lang tayo sa Minsan, sa studio ni Jason. Minsan naman office yan, Minsan Studio.
Okay.
So that's how the name started.
Right.
And then we just use that sort of moniker where Minsan, it's Minsan gig, Minsan concert, and then Minsan Fest. So.
Akala ko fan sila ni Gary V eh.
Minsan.
Anyway, but I like how... God Anne is here for that.
Good thing that
For
reference landed.
Meron, oh my gosh. Kakahiya yun kung hindi.
Ikaw ang kakanta.
Oh my God. No, okay lang. Pero grabe, no. Kasi Mo doesn't know anything about that. But, okay. The great thing about Minsan Fest is that you're saying no headliners. Pero
Yeah.
yung talent doon, headline-worthy.
Yeah,
Headliner-worthy.
So the idea there is each of the artists is a headliner in their own right. So even just last night, I was with Tony J, because I'm also his sound engineer.
Yeah.
He headlined his own show in Baras. So each artist there can hold their own, and even they do their own shows. So that's why we think there's no headliner in the traditional sense of a concert. And then we just sort of put everyone in a lineup where everyone can shine.
Yeah.
So it's normally the biggest band you put last, so not necessarily there in our festival. And we think that we try to put it in a way where all of the artists have their own following, their own fans who will actually go there and watch, which is also why we made it accessible. Compared to most of the music festivals in the Philippines, they're probably priced a little higher. We at Minsan, we've regularly done for the past 2-3 years where gigs are actually pay what you can. Literally, kahit piso lang binayad mo, makakanood ka ng ebe, ng mayonnaise or whatnot. So we tried to do a good compromise of that with this festival wherein, okay, let's try to make it as affordable as possible na hindi naman tayo malulugi so that we can actually make Minsan Fest 2. So hindi na siya Minsan, magiging Madalas Fest na siguro siya. But,
So, name change?
tignan natin. Depende. Let's see how
Pwede
this one
nang
goes.
gano'ng kadalas ang minsan.
We'll probably do once to twice a year. So we're actually looking at another one in November, December already. So, and a lot of, because I work mainly in the entertainment space, a lot of the artists you actually see on the bill for Minsan Fest are actually people either I've worked with or are friends of mine. So they're people who see the vision, because the whole idea with Minsan Fest is if you're familiar with a bar gig, so normally like these artists, even though they do huge concerts, they will also play venues like 70s Bistro, 12 Monkeys, Sagiho, which are just small bars.
Yeah.
And the whole concept there is there is no headliner in a sense.
Yeah.
It's just, okay, everyone plays, everyone shares the gate share, and then it's just a really good time. You can even play, that's where you normally practice or road test some of your songs that are still being developed, or even some of the songs that you might not be able to play in what we call a barangay set, wherein you have to play the hits. So at least you can play some more hidden gems, you can try out new stuff. So that's also the idea with what we want to do in Minsan Fest.
Yeah, I love the concept of having no headliners whatsoever. So for those who have never been to the Minsan Festival, how would you describe the vibe and experience being there?
I think it would be just really light. So the core target we want to hit out is really students and the youth. So we, one of the few things that we tried to do is make sure that it's a safe space for people. So bawal alak, bawal yosi, bawal vape. We also make sure that you can just come in, you can enjoy. And there are a few things, me personally, as a festival goer, that find a little irking, or at least not so good practices. So we made sure that you can come in and come out of the festival. You can do that. You can bring in food.
Made it viral recently about issues like that, if I'm not mistaken.
And even just, you can bring your own chairs kung medyo ano ka na, mas matanda-tanda ka na, kailangan mo na salon pass. Diba? So, pwede ka magdala ng sarili mo
you can bring your own lawn
pero doon ka lang
chair.
banda sa likod, ganun. And then we, one thing I wanted to do is that you can actually just bring your own professional camera if you want and shoot the festival.
Nice.
The only deal we ask is that when you use the photos, you tag the artists, and if they ask nicely, you also allow them to use your photos. So it's a fair trade thing.
Yeah.
So, as opposed to, alam mo yung papasok ko sa music festival, tapos biglang titignan yung bag, sir, bawal yan. Lalakad, babalik ka sa kotse, ganun. So, the small things that I find, at least, sana pwedeng gawin to, sana pwedeng gawin to. I just want, okay, I'll do it in my festival, diba? I'll do it with the festival, the people that I work with, and we'll just make it fun. Parang ganun.
Yun yung joke doon, no? You can tell your age pag pumunta ka sa music festival or any show, concert, tas naghanap ka ng upuan.
Okay,
So-
yeah. Kala ko kung may dalang salon pass o hindi eh.
Minsan may dalag sa Lompas, maghahanap ka ng chair. But to get to this music festival that's happening on May 17, kailangan mo ng Minsan Pass. Let's
Yes.
talk about that.
So, in line with the Quezon City government, one of their thrusts is really sustainability. So, that's another thing we wanted to do. Because we do a lot of events, we have a couple of other ones we're lining up for the rest of the year. We wanted to make sure that the pass itself was actually sustainable. And I think I have
Ooh,
one
let's
here.
see it.
So, this is the Minsan Pass.
Yeah.
So it's essentially just a card,
Okay.
and then it becomes your personal contact card
Okay.
at the back. At the festival itself, you can have your name lasered.
Oh yeah.
Just so it becomes
So can you
personal.
just hold it up para
Yep,
makita?
so
Yeah,
it's here.
right.
There you go. So you can have your name lasered here, and then at the back, you can scan it, and then that goes to a hub, our website, where you can just load up for our future concerts and anything we have we're promoting there. You can see it, whether it's our podcast, whether it's our latest video, or just our next concert.
So if we scan that right now, it goes straight to your website.
It goes straight to you have to register first. So at least
okay.
because
Alright,
it also
sige.
becomes your personal contact card. So in line with the QC government, we wanted to make sure that it was actually sustainable, not just one-time use.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Nice,
And then-
everything's digitized.
Yeah. So we wanted to make sure that it was accessible, it was easy to do. It's just go to our website, minsan.studio, then you can just get a pass and go to a concert.
All right, so for those wondering kung sino nasa Minsan Fest,
Yes.
I'm gonna go through the list here. It's Zild, Evidancel, Mayonnaise, Itchy Worms, Risansangan, Sud, Autolectic, Autotelic, sorry,
No
my
worries.
bad. Clara Benin, The Ridleys, ang dami kasi eh. Tony J, The Sun Manager, and Minaw. And of course, it feels like we're hitting most generations, apart from Anne's, but we're hitting most generations.
We'll work on that.
We'll work on that. Gary V nga para sa Minsan, di ba? But,
Yeah, that's a concept I've had for a long time.
I love it.
One
love
of these
it.
count me
One of
in. I'll
these
be
days.
there.
One of these
Okay.
days.
Pero how important is it that we're hitting different generations, different sounds? We were talking a bit off the air a while ago na parang this crop of OPM talent that we have right now, Filipino music, it feels like there's just so many different sounds and flavors that really everyone could relate to.
Yeah, I think it's important simply because there is a lot of good talent. There is a lot of good music being made. There's more good music being made than most people can listen to. And
Yeah.
I think what we want to do is just highlight that, hey, you can listen to this genre, this genre, this genre. And then there are artists, I believe, who deserve the spotlight, which is why we're also doing a lot of this. Wherein, you might not be able to see him in the big festivals, in the big concerts, but maybe you can see him here. You may be a fan of Mayonnaise, but you might not know their deeper cuts. You may not know that, hey, they actually work a lot with the artist Sud or Autotelic. So ideally, the crossing of their fan bases allows them to discover each other's music, and that's very important to me. So when
Super.
we do lineups, it's really just hindi lahat rock, hindi
Yeah.
lahat pop,
yeah.
halo-halo
Yeah.
talaga.
Mix of everything.
Parang ganun.
Yeah, you know, it's so great because Mo, we were talking a bit about it a while ago, how accessible this is price-wise.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's why
Yes.
I'm so curious, and I'm sure our viewers are too,
Okay.
because typically concerts, when you
Alright.
hear concerts, you already know the price is
Yeah.
always high. But for you guys, it is 349 pesos and 699
Yeah.
just for the entrance fee, right?
Yes.
And I mean, I guess that's everything. And then you
Yeah,
can bring
that's
your
everything.
chair, you can bring your food.
Yeah.
How are you guys able to produce something like this at a low cost?
Okay.
I'm just
No problem.
Really
Yeah,
interesting.
from a business
Posible pala.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's mainly because we're a production company. So a lot
Okay.
of the resources are already our own. As
Yeah.
simple as like the drum set,
Yeah,
the cameras
yeah,
are already
yeah,
ours. The other thing is that most of the artists, I have to give them credit. Actually, all of the artists, we put this up specifically for students. So that's why the pricing is that way. So we call it 349 for youth. So if you're 24 and below,
Okay.
or 699 for
Adults.
25 and above, or 25 and beyond.
Okay.
And
So-
beyond.
And beyond.
Okay, so we fall.
I
Doon ako sa beyond. The great beyond.
So yeah, as opposed to having like section pricing where it's
Yeah.
VIP,
Yeah,
ganito,
yeah,
ganito.
amazing.
So I would say it's reverse ages.
Yeah.
Meaning if you're
I like
younger,
that.
yeah. So
Yeah.
and the idea is, if you're a student, parang ang hirap humingi ng 2,000, 3,000 to be able to
Yeah,
go
oh
to a
my
concert.
goodness.
But the idea if it's 349, I can save up for a couple of weeks or maybe a month.
right,
And then I
yeah.
can actually enjoy, I can actually watch. And I think that makes the experience for these students, the youth, much more meaningful na, I was the one who paid for this.
Right,
Nag-ipon ako para
right.
dito, nagtrabaho ako para dito. And that's why we want to do it.
Oh, we
So
need more festivals doing this.
As someone who graduated college as a 24-year-old, maraming salamat for considering 24-year-old students pa rin.
Yeah.
Because that is not,
It was so hard to go to
it's not
concerts at
it's
our
rare.
age.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
hard. But again, with you mentioned the collaborations, very important. I think I read an article talking about Minsan, talking about how you put the community first, and the community is not just the artists; it's also the fans and everyone involved. Just how good, or how it feels almost like it feels like a rehab in a good way of bringing the community together for all of this. Just how important is the community aspect in Minsan?
I would say it is at the core of everything that we do. So even just the concept of Minsan Fest, I was talking to Monty of Mayonnaise he was the first one who told me, sige, gawa ka na ng music festival after we did Mayonnaise, their 20th anniversary at the Quezon City Circle. And then the person who told me, sige, just target students, target the youth, because that's already what you do, was actually the manager of the Itchy Worms, si Julie Pacanas. If you know the song Julie Tear Jerky, that song is actually named after her. She's an
really?
actual person.
Okay.
So we're always thinking of ways to make sure that the audience, that people, and the community is served well, and they're able to give. We're able to give to them, and they're also able to give back. Because realistically, a 40-year-old tita will not post on TikTok about the music that she saw.
May I introduce you to Anne?
This is
She would be the
Our
exception to
resident
that. Diba? But most of the artists you see, most of the songs that you see going viral are because of the youth.
Yes,
They're the
okay.
ones who are really pushing forward to that. So the idea here is, okay, we give you something first. Because long term, these are the people who will grow up to be marketing managers, heads of their companies, or even just barangay chairmans or whoever, and they will be the ones to give back to these artists. If you were able to see them for $349, you were able to enjoy the concert, that will be a lifelong experience. That will be a lifelong memory, and that will serve these artists back in the future. So there's this give and take that we want to do, but we're, at least at Minsan, we're the ones who want to give first.
Yeah.
That's the idea here. And with your help, we're able to get more people on board. Although okay naman kami, kaya naman. Kumbaga, gawin lang natin mas enjoy. So we're already planning a lot of other things in the future.
Okay.
So Minsan Fest 2 yun nga, baka maging madalas fest na siya.
Oh,
Tignan natin.
magiging mas madalas na
mas madalas
ang Minsan.
festival,
Yeah, Jason, why don't you invite our viewers to come to the music festival May 17th?
Alright, so everyone, simple lang, $349 kung mas bata ka pa sa 24 pagka-check out. Or if you're 25 and beyond, $699 lang. You can watch all of the artists you see on screen. You can just go to our Facebook page or YouTube page to see what we do. Para lang, seryoso ba to? Legit ba to? Like, we've had questions na, $349, isang artist lang ba? Hindi, that's all 12 artists. It's on May 17, and it starts at 2 p.m. Hope to see you there.
May 17.
Alam mo, minsan sabi niya sa akin, sandali na lang eh. May 17 lang pala.
Minsan lang to, guys. So you gotta grab your Minsan Pass now. Thank you so much for your time. Minsan Studio Head Jason Conanan. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So who says you have to choose between flavor and the environment? This eco-friendly charcoal can give you both. catch our conversation with actress and social entrepreneur Aya Fernandez live after the break. Don't go away. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back.
Opinyon ay hindi lang malalim, pero may kasama pong pasabog. Ako po si Jordan Dadino.
Di lang tayo basta chika, kundi chika with a cause. Ako si Sama Costa, kontesera ng buhay at balita.
Ihahain natin ang politika na may lalim at linaw para sa mas matalinong pagdedesisyon ng bawat Pilipino. Ako si Ronald Llamas, ang inyong political heckler.
Atid namin na matapang pero patas na pagsusuri sa mga isyong humuhubog sa kinabukasan ng ating bansa. Ako si Marichu Villanueva, may talas sa mata at panulat.
Samahan niyo kami dito tuwing linggo, alas 10:30 ng umaga.
Dito sa
Politiko Talk!
My Rodriguez, Trade Talks, My Bilyonaryo, 11 a.m. on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Bawat issue, mas matagal nang tatalakayin. At ang bawat anggulo, mas masusing susuriin.
Dahil ang bawat balita, siguradong may agenda. Ako po, si Willard Cheng. At makakasama na ni Corina Sanchez Rojas at Pinky Webb na maghahatid ng mga balitang dapat niyong malaman.
6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. na ang agenda. Dito lang sa Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Friends, this is Cardinal Chito Tagle, and we have good news for you. The Word Exposed now airs on Bilyonaryo News Channel. That's Channel 31 on Free TV and Channel 24 on Signal. Join us every Sunday at 7 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock in the morning, and at 3 o'clock in the afternoon to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Thank you, and God bless you.
Welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. Grilling adds that signature smoky flavor to your favorite dishes. But what if you could enjoy the taste without the harmful effects of traditional charcoal? A homegrown social enterprise is making that possible. Now in the studio with us is actress and certified girl boss Aya Fernandez, the founder of Project Lily PH, and the woman behind eco-friendly charcoal, Eco-Uling. It's a beautiful day. Aya, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me here. It's a beautiful day.
It is.
Nice show.
You know what? Eco-Uling, this is the first I've heard of it. And from what I read online, it started as a high school project when you were doing something with water hyacinths.
Yes.
How did that come about? How did you think of water hyacinths into Uling?
Wow.
Like, that's crazy to me. I never thought of stuff like that in high school.
Yeah, well, oh my gosh. Thank you for the question. We're talking about, imagine a decade ago.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, so we're the same age. Okay.
Yes. So today, Eco-Uling by Project Lily Inc. or Eco-Uling is a carbon tech startup. We are a livelihood project turned into social enterprise. And yes, we manufacture Eco-Uling. We call it Eco-Uling because it's eco-friendly charcoals. Instead of cutting wood, we use biomass or coconut shell waste to turn it into for charcoal for grilling or industrial processes like metal production. So that's where we are today. And the question is it makes me reminisce. We started
it's like a
as
trip down memory lane.
Yes. It started as an idea in high school. I graduated from a science high school, and yes, that was our project. We make a fiberglass reinforcement made from water hyacinth or water lily. So instead of plastic, we use water hyacinth, and that's how I got immersed to the community of waste, of biomass waste, and how they can be livelihood opportunities in the Philippines. And then we transitioned into a livelihood project a year after, making charcoals out of water hyacinth once again. We use carbonization technology. Not really a rocket science, but it's fun actually. So, for context, you can turn any living material into charcoal, like even humans, but we don't do that.
I hope so.
Wow.
I hope you don't.
Yes, we don't.
Okay.
Only biomass waste or agricultural waste.
Yeah.
And then before we started with water lilies and then coconut husk, and then now after 5 years of research and development, we use coconut shells mainly for our Eco-Uling.
So initially, your project, the Project Lily, focused on creating bags from water hyacinths, right? So what prompted that shift from producing eco-friendly bags to eco-friendly charcoal?
Yeah. So imagine our lens here is that before we were called Project Lily, now it's Eco-Uling. But imagine our lens is just that what is the problem? We need livelihood. And then what is the solution that we can offer the existing technology that we have. So it's not really about what product do we want to sell. So it's about what is needed by the community that we are in right now. So I think that prompted that shift. That okay, we know this technology, but can we teach it? Because we first we wanted the fiberglass to teach it as a livelihood project, but then it was very costly. People cannot really adapt the technology or the process itself. It wasn't sustainable. So to be a sustainable livelihood, it should be the adaptability of the community should be high. It's a collaboration and not really a one-way thing. So it's not really who decides. And then that's why we transitioned into that technology. Also, maybe because of my bias. I love research, I love science, I love R&D, trial and error. Up to this day, we do that every single day. So, yeah.
I love that. And the thing is, when we talk about eco-friendly pursuits, some people may think that, okay, it might not be as effective as a certain other methods. Like some people would criticize green energy in particular, saying not as effective as like coal. Pero Eco-Uling is actually, when you compare it to regular charcoal, if I'm not mistaken, actually burns hotter, burns longer.
Yes.
Just how, first of all, you're into R&D. How did that happen? How long did it take for that to happen? And of course, just what does it say about the effort that you have put in to Eco-Uling?
Eco-Uling is 5 times more cost efficient than wood charcoal. In the Philippines, we only have 3% pristine forests left. Per year, we cut down 7.2 million tons of wood, of trees to produce charcoal.
Okay.
And at the same time, we have 2.2 billion tons of coconut waste.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
There's a math there. There's math there.
Yes. Diba? Yun yung girl math. In my perspective, to be sustainable and eco-friendly should just be the norm. It's not a trade-off. It's not charity. For me, it's not even an advocacy. It's the most logical way to do business. It's not even doing good business, but it's just doing business. So we just really have come to a point in this world that the norm has become a destructive way of doing things. Faster, cheaper, exploiting people. And then when we do something that's not like that, it's like suddenly, all of a sudden, that's a social enterprise.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it, the label, the game changer, revolutionary. Thank you. But I think my point here is that we just really have a lot of untapped resources. And again, Eco-Uling is smokeless, has less to no smoke. It lasts up to, right now, our R&D, up to 9 hours in enclosed grill units. Our main clients are B2B, restaurants, and again, industrial factories. And our clients would be the one testifying about our quality. Yeah.
Do you still, when you use the Eco-Uling, does it still get that same flavor that you get from normal uling?
Yes, since it's made out of coconut shell,
It has even better flavor, right?
Yeah.
The coconut flavor.
Yes, and notable chefs can testify to this.
Yeah.
Chef Lau, Chef Rob, and Reese. Oh, I don't know if I can mention
No, you
the
can.
restaurants.
Yeah.
Okay, so like recently we got Mama Lou's, Chef Guevara's, Chef Lau of Guevara's, All Suv Restaurants by Sima, Manila Peninsula. So usually steakhouses. We also do white labels. So some restaurants, they sell on a different label, but that's also ours. But then, usually the steak houses, I don't know how to cook, unfortunately. But then the chefs are telling me that, hey, our costs were just cut down like 10 times more. Like, thank you so much. And then we love the taste, and hey, so that's good.
You don't have to cook. It's okay. You can you can enjoy the fruit of the labor.
Grilling naman, madali lang naman yung grilling.
Actually,
madali lang siya. But Project Lily has been recognized for employing PWDs. You have collaborated with Tahanang Walang Hagdan. Yes, and you are supporting over 250 PWDs right now. How has this shaped the enterprise's operations and your community impact?
So now we're called Eco-Uling, and then Project Lily was our name way back when we were a social enterprise.
I see. Okay.
We our primary manpower were persons with disabilities. We stopped during the COVID-19 pandemic. We all know it was a very tough time.
Yeah, it was.
Our clients were B2B restaurants. Who closed first? The restaurants. So what a beautiful day back then. Diba? So I'll never forget that day. Anyway, yes, to honor our primary manpower, a part of our proceeds go to Tahanang Walang Hagdanan. But now that we are scaling up, we have shifted our impact to our supply chain. So now we are collaborating with local farming communities nationwide for us to be climate resilient as well and to secure our supply chain and meet the demands. So now we are working closely with coconut farmers, and then we are transferring our technology, and then we train or empower them to become agripreneurs, because whatever they produce, we buy them and then we process them in our mother plant here, located here in Luzon.
Okay.
You know, what I like about what you're mentioning a while ago is that it is a business, right? It's no longer just a social enterprise. And
it is a business and a social
enterprise. And a social enterprise, that's absolutely
So social
right.
enterprises are profitable businesses focusing on doing business for good.
I want to focus on, you mentioned you're scaling up. How does that look like?
Yes, right now we're scaling up. It's a different game. So we are basically increasing our capacity around at least 500%. And again, we are building a secured and sustainable supply chain in order to meet the demand. So we are actually in the lookout for LGUs, local farming communities. Shout out to you guys. If we are really looking for a farming community to set up our green facilities. So now we have 2, and now we're looking into building 15 in the next 3 years. Scaling up means being able to meet the demand that we are catering here in the Philippines and then eventually abroad, because not all countries have coconut trees. So and again, the Philippines is the second largest producers of coconut in the world, but our coconut farmers are the poorest. So we really would like to bridge that gap through our technology, and at the same time, we invest on occupational health and safety, because usually manufacturing companies would, I don't want to speak on their behalf, but according to statistics, research, data, there are exploitation happening. And we are not doing that, of course. So it's really a collaboration between us and the rural communities. Lastly, I know I've been mentioning numbers, but I love numbers.
It's okay. Go for it.
So the Philippines is composed of 52% rural population. So imagine what we see right now. This is not the majority of the Philippines. So it is just really business sound to invest on rural economies. And again, I would like to emphasize, it's not charity. It's just the most business sound strategy and direction for any company here in the Philippines, to be honest.
Right. Aya, you know, what you're doing is amazing, and I commend you. And Paolo, Anne, and I fully support you with this endeavor 100%. As somebody who started so young, like we mentioned in high school, what advice do you have for any young entrepreneurs who want to go this route and want to start something sustainable and help their communities?
Wow. To be honest, when we started, my vision wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna build a company, a corporation. It just started as what to do, because like from June, the school year began in August that year. I had nothing to do. So, let's start the livelihood project. It came very, very natural to me because I was president of the student council. And then I was already in touch with the barangay. And then I was so used to making proposals, auditing, liquidation, etc. So I don't know. I almost feel like I'm not in the position to like give an advice, give a piece of advice. But maybe follow your heart. Do what you're called to do today. You don't have to know everything. I was telling my team just yesterday, maybe if I knew the risk of what I was going into when we started, maybe I'm not here today. Maybe I backed out early on. So sometimes, the less you know, sometimes it's good, It's not all the time.
You just jump into it.
And then when you're in it, and then you're in the point of no return, you just gotta keep swimming forward. And when you follow your passion, people show up. Like the right people that you need will show up and will guide you to the right path. God provides. It may be cheesy, but I can attest to that. Don't be afraid to fail. I know it's hard, but wala eh. Parang it's always the design thinking is that, this is strategy A. If it fails, let's cry, and then strategy B, ganon. So I think that's it.
I'm so happy you're a fan of research and R&D because none of this would be possible if you weren't very much into that. Really appreciate you being here today.
Thank you so much, Aya. For our viewers who are interested in checking out Eco-Uling, where can they check you guys out?
You can check out www.ecouling.com or our social media platforms. We haven't been that active, but we are cooking something up. You can check us out at Eco-Uling PH on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We also have that if you guys are there. And once again, we are looking for local farming communities or LGUs who have abundant biomass waste. We are really gearing towards this year, on partnering, collaborating on teaching our technology, our cost, just your manpower and your waste, and together, let's make a green future.
Thank you so much, Aya. It was great having you this morning.
Thank you.
All right, so when we return, let's see how hot weather impacts heart health, who's most at risk, and what you can do to stay safe under the sun. Don't go away, it's a beautiful day. We'll be right back. And welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. This is Weather HQ. Now, as temperatures rise, so does the risk and health concerns, especially for those with high blood pressure. While cold weather is often linked to heart issues, extreme heat can also pose serious risks, particularly for individuals who work outdoors or are exposed to the sun for long hours. Now, how exactly does heat affect the blood pressure? Is there a safe or ideal BP range for people exposed to extreme temperatures and what practical steps can we take to protect ourselves. Now, to help us understand more about hypertension in particular in the heat, we're joined via Zoom by Dr. Glenn Sayat, adult cardiologist and cardiographer. It's a beautiful day, Doc Glenn. Don't worry, I won't ask you to dance today. Maraming salamat. Thank you so much for joining us here.
Yes, Paolo. Good morning.
Doc, let's talk about the hot weather at the moment. Kasi we always hear the term heat stroke. We always hear mga heat-related illnesses. But let's talk about how it affects yung BP po natin muna. When we talk about high temperatures, how does it affect directly yung BP po natin?
So hot weather typically causes our blood pressure to go down because heat causes our blood vessels to dilate, so a process called vasodilation, which helps our body to release the heat. So this can lead to a drop in blood pressure, especially if the person is dehydrated or is overexerted. So it can vary depending on a person's baseline health and kung ano yung mga medications na tinitake niya.
Mm-hmm. Is there an ideal or safe BP for those working outdoors during yung extreme heat na to? There are some people na talagang hindi maiiwasan na nasa ilalim talaga ng araw. When you talk about their BP, what's a good range for them or what is safe? Is it different from what we normally have during normal temperatures?
So there's no specific blood pressure for these people, but that general target remains to be below 120/80 for healthy individuals.
Yeah.
For people with hypertension, so a safe working BP is one that remains within their normal control range, so typically less than 130/80. So without symptoms, of course, like dizziness, fatigue, or confusion.
Are those the typical symptoms for those, especially, like, let's say, nasabi mo nga that with the higher heat, mababa yung BP po natin. Are those the symptoms that normally indicate na mababa yung BP natin?
So symptoms like dizziness, fainting, blurred vision or weakness, those are typical symptoms of too low BP. While too high BP, so they usually present with headaches, chest discomfort, shortness of breath, or palpitation. So for people who are at risk, it's safe that they carry with them their portable BP monitors to check in real time if they feel unwell.
How vulnerable are yung mga hypertensive individuals, especially during this high heat era that we have at the moment?
Yung mga hypertensive individuals, they are vulnerable. So people with hypertension, especially those who are taking the following medications, yung nagtitake ng diuretics, beta blockers, they have the impaired heat regulation and they are more susceptible to dehydration and heat exhaustion. So their cardiovascular system may not respond efficiently to maintain the temperature balance under stress.
You mentioned heat exhaustion. Can you talk more about what heat exhaustion actually is and heat stroke, of course, especially when it relates to yung mga highly vulnerable population po natin?
So, itong mga taong to, yung nagkakameron ng heat stroke and heat exhaustion, usually nahihilo sila, nagko-collapse, tapos nagkakameron ng excessive sweating, confusion. So yung mga taong to, usually nagkakameron ng pagbaba ng BP, dahil yung cardiovascular system nila is under stress and they are not able to cope up.
Let's focus again on yung mga tao na hypertensive. We talked about, minsan talaga minamanage talaga eh. Like you mentioned the medication that some of them do take to manage yung hypertension po nila. But then, can heat actually trigger yung mga hypertensive crisis that syempre iniiwasan ng mga tao despite being well managed medically speaking?
Yes, it's possible, especially if their hydration is poor. If medications are skipped or if the person experiences sudden stress or overexertion. So while heat usually lowers BP, the body's stress response to overheating or dehydration can paradoxically cause blood pressure spikes. So pag nagtatry yung katawan natin na i-release yung heat, so bumibilis din yung tibok ng puso, no? So tumataas yung cardiac output.
Yeah.
And then yun nangyayari yung mga blood pressure spikes, no, in some individuals.
Alam mo, minsan hindi talaga maiiwasan yung, well, being exposed to the sun, being exposed to this heat, especially from sa mga kababayan natin in the northern provinces in particular. When you take a look at what they can do to properly regulate themselves, especially kung hindi nila maiiwasan na magtatrabaho sila under the sun, what would you say to help them regulate yung BP nila or in general, yung general health nila under these extreme heat conditions?
I would advise them to follow the 3 C's, no, for staying safe in the heat. So first is cool down, second is consume fluids, and the third is check for their symptoms. No, so for cooling down, no, they must stay in a colder room. No, so avoid specific peak sun hours, and yung damit nila dapat breathable yun. No, then yung fluids, no, hydration, and then yung checking for symptoms, no, they must monitor kung nakakameron ba sila ng dizziness, fatigue, nausea, chest discomfort. So yun yung mga signal na nagkakameron na ng BP fluctuations or heat exhaustion.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned yung hydration. I want to talk a bit more about that kasi minsan akala ng mga tao, okay, magjo-juice sila, pwede na yan. O minsan yung mga energy drinks just to stay hydrated. Is there a proper way to be hydrated, to stay hydrated during this time in particular?
Well, yung pag maramdaman nila na uhaw sila, no, mas maganda meron sila palaging dalang tubig, especially with the kind of weather that we have now. So, pero meron ding mga tao kasi na pinaglilimit ng tubig, yung may mga heart failure, no? So, they must follow their doctor on the advice, no?
Mm-hmm. And of course, when we take a look at what people siguro don't really pay as much attention to, you as a doctor po, when you take a look at yung mga pasyente po ninyo, what do you find yourself advising them to do more of na nagulat ka? Maybe they do not pay as much attention to, especially during this time na medyo talaga mainit talaga.
Siyempre yung hydration talaga, no,
yeah,
very important, no. So I advise them, no, yung magdala talaga ng tubig, no. Tapos yung mga medication sila talagang i-take nila regularly. And then kung nagkakameron ng mga changes, no, may mga bagong symptoms, no, ina-advise ko sila talaga mag-follow up na para ma-check sila kung may mga kailangan pang gawin or additional advice.
Inom ako ng tubig dito, Doc, but when you look at the seasons po, do you find more people experiencing more episodes, especially yung mga hypertension in the hot, yung sa tag-init po ngayon compared to, let's say, yung tag-ulan season?
Yes, sa clinic ngayon, dumadami yung bumibisita na mataas talaga yung BP. Kasi nga galing sila sa labas, na-expose sa init, tapos hindi pa nakapag-hydrate. So, usually mga sila, tachycardic or mabilis yung heartbeat, no? Kasi dapat talaga mag-hydrate, no, para hindi ma-stress din yung heart, no? Especially sa may mga heart conditions.
Again, napainom ako ng tubig doon. But Doc, right now, for those who want to go and see you and of course, magpa-consult po, where can they reach you?
I'm currently based in Lipa, Batangas, no, hanggang Rosario, Batangas, no. So, I'm affiliated in all the hospitals dito sa Lipa. So, ayun, kung gusto nyo pa-consult.
Ayun, perfect. You can find them, Dr. Glenn Sayat. Maraming salamat. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, stay hydrated po, always. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sir Paolo. Good morning.
All right, good morning to you too. Now, we've got more source for you, plus our horoscope of the day with Master Hans Kua. Drink your water. After the break, we'll be right back. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right here.
Welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. Now, let's go find out if today is going to be lucky for us or not. Let's find out from our resident energizer and feng shui master, Hans Kua, in our horoscope of the day. Go ahead, Master Hans.
Good morning! It's a beautiful day with me, Master Hans Kua. Ito po ang horoscope for today. Happy Friday! May 2. Para sa mga pinanganak ng Year of the Rat, ang pagsuporta sa pangarap ng iyong partner ang susi sa mas matibay na pagsasamahan. Green at 8. Punta naman tayo kay Year of Dogs. Ang sipag at tiyaga ay magbubunga ng promosyon at bagong oportunidad. Blue at 6. Sa mga tiger naman matulog ng sapat upang magkaroon ng malinaw na pag-iisip. Red at 3. Kay rabbit naman tayo, mag-focus sa professional growth para sa mas magandang kinabukasan. Red at 2. Kay dragon naman tayo, umiwas sa pagkain ng sobrang matatamis. Purple at 7. Kay snake naman tayo, mag-exercise ng kahit 15 minutes each day. Orange at 4. Ito naman kay Year of the Horsey. Iwasan ang chismis na maaaring makaapekto sa relasyon. Yellow at 5. Kay Year of the Sheep naman tayo, iwasan ang stress. Maglaan ng oras para makapagpahinga. Pink at 1. Kay Year of the Monkey naman huwag palampasin ang bagong opportunity. Green at 9. Kay Rooster naman tayo, mag-invest sa mga bagay na may long-term benefits. Red at 8. Kay Dog naman tayo, pagbutihin ang skills para sa mas maraming opportunities. Purple at 7. Kay Year of the Pig naman, huwag magmadali sa pag-ibig. Hayaan itong lumago ng natural. Orange at 4. Ako po, si Master Hans Kua. Paalala lang, ito po'y patnubay lamang. Ang tunay na swerte ay nagsisimula sa pagiging totoo. Abangan araw-araw ang horoscope of the day. Dito lang po sa It's a Beautiful Day with me, Master Hans Kua.
That's my favorite part. Thank you so much, Master Hans Kua. Super perfect my horoscope for today because I only had 3 hours of sleep. So I am going to rest.
Bakit?
Because I had dinner.
She had cocktails last night.
I
on
had
a Thursday, on a work
dinner
night.
with Kiko Folve and Hanati. We had dinner. So ayan, 3 hours lang tulog ko, Master Hans. Matutulog ako after. Ikaw, iwasan mo kasi yung chismis, Pao.
Ha? What are you talking about? Nanahimik ako dito.
Sabi ni
What
Master
chismis?
Hans. That was his horoscope.
Yeah, there's no chismis here, Anne.
Chismis? Oh, okay.
Ikaw nga, baka ikaw nga may chismis eh. Diba?
Yeah, what's the chismis from last night? That's what I'm just kidding.
Mamaya,
There was
pag-usapan
no
natin.
chismis.
Pag-usapan natin.
We were talking about the elections. Oh, election chismis.
Oh yeah, you got home at 3 a.m. for that. But then, but how about you, Mo? You have to invest?
Yeah, invest in long-term...
Invest in things with long-term benefits. That was your
So,
horoscope.
AKA my sleep this weekend.
Actually,
I
that
will
is
live
true.
longer if
That
I
is
sleep
true.
longer. So, there we go.
So you invest in
I will
bed
be
hours.
investing in my bed hours,
Okay.
yes, this weekend.
All right. So speaking of the weekend, speaking of everyone celebrating, especially with Labor Day, Boracay is in the mood to celebrate and parties are expected in the top tourism destination this weekend. Paolo Barcelon reports on this year's festivities.
Donna and her workmates from Sarangani are just among some of those catching a quick run at Boracay's beachfront. What brings them back to the island is the pristine waters and white sand of one of the world's best tourist destinations.
Napakaganda ng scenery, especially itong white sand, and then may mga activities sila, and then yung nightlife.
The same holds true for visitors like Roylan and for content creators like Darren.
Ito pa rin yung sand. Yun talaga nakakawa. Kasi napakaganda ng buhangin. Tapos na talaga mapipil mo na nasa isla ka. Kasi hindi naman yung daily life natin medyo, sabi nga medyo busy. Yun nating hinahanap yung relaxation.
Ang sarap dito mag-relax.
Ang sarap. Ang daming pwedeng maging activities dito sa Boracay. Ang daming pwedeng gawin. Bukod sa pwede siyang pangbata, pwede siyang pangmatanda, pambata, kahit anong edad, safe na safe dito sa Boracay.
Parties are also back in the island, this time done with care and environmental protection in mind. AirAsia Philippines held the first night of its Love Boracay events, headlined by celebrities such as Kaya, Denise Julia, The Ones, and OPM icons Itchy Worms. AirAsia Philippines says these events are also one of the prime movers to drive more local tourists, especially younger travelers.
We democratize air travel, meaning yung sa pinakamurang halaga na safest possible para makarating kayo sa Boracay, and that's AirAsia. And hindi lang naman siya flights. Siyempre, meron din kami mga partner hotels. So, yung kanilang stay sa Boracay, siyempre lalo na yung mga Gen Zs or millennials na always on a budget. Yan. Of course, you fly with AirAsia, you fly with confidence, with peace of mind.
The airline is also hosting promos such as its 544 peso one-way base fare promo in a bid to bring more tourists to Boracay. Last year, AirAsia Philippines brought over 1.3 million tourists to the island via both Caticlan and Calibo airports. The local government is eyeing to get over 2 million tourists this year from different economic backgrounds. The low-cost carrier has also increased flights to 81 per week from the previous 70 to cater to more passengers. Aside from luxurious stays in the island's hotels and resorts, the local government is also trying to attract guests on a budget.
Akala nila, Boracay, mahal, no? Mayroon pa rin mamamura dyan. So it's a matter only of informing the tourists na hindi naman mahal ang Boracay. It depends on your choice. Kung gusto mo mahal, meron mura, meron dyan. So it depends on your budget.
Changes implemented during the first rehabilitation of Boracay, such as beach cleanliness, constant monitoring of the island's water quality, and maintaining public order are also still being done to ensure a closure of the island will never happen again. Back in 2018, then-President Rodrigo Duterte ordered a closure, calling the tourist destination a cesspool. Malay's local government says they will not let the rehabilitation go to waste, as they will make sure that the beauty of one of the world's best beaches will be preserved so that more people can see this piece of island paradise. In Boracay, Paolo Barcelon, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
And before we go, talk about a perfect date. The world's tallest and shortest dogs recently met in Idaho. The Great Dane named Reggie has a height of more than 1 meter, while Chihuahua Pearl is only 9.14 centimeters. The meeting took place at Reggie's home and was organized by the Guinness World Records.
Oh. To any one person, that'll be great for him and that'll make him happy. And it's a really great way for dogs that, maybe aren't going to be here forever, even though he's going to live forever. That's happening.
No discussion. That's happening with these two forever.
Yes. But a really special way to immortalize them too.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's a Chihuahua, for those wondering.
It's so cute.
Chihuahua?
Chihuahua.
What did you say earlier?
Chihuahua.
Chihuahua.
I didn't get your joke.
No, but then, syempre, when you look at that, the Great Dane looks like he's a couch.
Oh my gosh.
Look at that.
The Chihuahua looks scared.
That's like huge Scooby-Doo.
I found out that Chihuahua and Great Dane breeding is actually a thing, and they call it the Chudane Dane.
Chudane?
Yeah, Chudane Dane. Yeah.
I've never seen a Chudane Dane before.
It's a thing. They breed the Chihuahua. It's so big. The size difference is crazy. So there, it's actually a thing. Look at that. It's so small.
But look at how long the legs of the Great Dane are. My goodness. The Chihuahua looks so lost and confused.
Well,
like, what am I doing here?
Yeah. I mean, like, that's insane.
That's adorable.
Oh my gosh, look at the...
But Chihuahuas are noisy.
Tapos nagkaanak sila, no?
Yun nga, Chudane Dane nga ang tawag.
How does that work?
A thing. I don't know too, but it's
the
a
Chihuahuas
thing.
are so
It's a thing. It's crazy,
The Chihuahuas
right?
better be the guy.
Chudane Dane.
I don't know how the Chihuahua's gonna carry the Great Dane in its little body. There's no way.
I have no idea how it works, but it's a thing.
Maybe this can be our next topic. We'll find a Chudane breeder. Because now I'm so interested in Paolo's face.
We need to
Says it all.
guess a dog breeder for that. Yeah.
Mag-guess tayo ng Chihuahua at Great Dane na...
No, we're just gonna ask him
How it works. Yes.
Okay, so that is it for this weekend for everyone in Boracay, especially Paolo Barcelona. We are all jealous of you. Of course, hello to all our friends in Boracay, MJ Aoki and all her friends as well. This is it for us. It's Friday, May 2. Ako po si Paolo del Rosario. Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm Anne Asis-Carilo. Quick shout out to our beauty sponsors for keeping me and Mo camera ready all the time. Lip Clinic and Pino Beauty Lounge. Thanks, loves. Now, wherever this day and this weekend takes you, always choose joy, be kind, and pack your own sunshine.
And I'm Monique Tuzon. Thank you again, Lip Clinic and Pino Beauty Lounge, for making Anne and I always camera ready. I hope you guys have a great weekend ahead. Join us again on Monday at 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. only here on
It's a Beautiful Day!